Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, dive in some TA. Alright, guys, so we're going to kick it off here with SPY's weekly chart. We're going to go over the indices. We're going to go over the big boys. We got the semiconductors next, and then Bitcoin stocks. And then I have 12 trade ideas at the end of the video for you going into next week. So we will be all ready to kill it next week. All right, guys, so I am just going to start off by saying we have relatively neutral closes over here on SPY and QQ's weekly time frames. SPY looks more bullish than not, but I will point out you have decreasing volume here, 3 weeks in a row, 3 green bars in a row, 3 decreasing, right here on these past 2 right here. You can see lower volume. That is not typically the best look, but I'm just going to say we're so close to that $600 psych level that I do think we're probably going to continue on. I'm also going to say, DIA and IWM, especially IWM, suggest we probably have, a lot of meat on the bone still on this rally. All right. Now, on the daily time frame, we're just going to go over support and resistance. All right. As you see, we had an inside bar on Friday. You did have that increasing volume. If you pull back into this uptrend here, you're probably going to be testing the daily 9. We should definitely be expecting buyers on that first test, at least for a dead cat bounce. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. We typically do end up getting a dead cat bounce when these things are tested. We get a reaction around here. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but the vast majority of the time, we will get a bounce off of that spot. All right, so that's what we're going to be watching. We do have this uptrend to pay attention to. If you add an upper trend line, all right, I'm sure, this has been shared a lot on Twitter and stuff like that. You do have this, nice rising wedge. We're kind of coming to the apex of that. If it breaks up, that's not going to be the worst thing in the world, and we probably are going to have, a decent squeeze following that. If it breaks down, though, people are going to lose their minds. All right. But what comes first, guys, that daily 9. If you pull back into this uptrend right here, the bottom trend line of that falling wedge, or rising wedge, I should say, you are going to come in contact with the daily 9. We're probably going to get buyers stepping in. All right, so we're now going to come down to the hourly time frame here, and we're going to go over support and resistance for the week. Resistance, guys, we have 586.12. Get above there. Is your current all-time high. Get above there. We were watching that 590 psych level above. On the downside, we're going to have 582.30, 580.73, and 578.70. Now, of course, if this is lost down here, we're just going to come revisit down here. But like I said, you're going to have to break underneath that daily 9 and that uptrend there. And then from that point, we might get something like that. That would probably mark the start of a, larger decline here. And that's how I would see that. That's how I would be going about it. All right. So that is SPY, guys. Don't got to complicate it going into next week. Really do not. I'm going to say you have a relatively neutral close over here on QQQ. All right, we could, advance off of this. We could pull back off of this. I am just going to point out, if you do pull back, it is not the worst thing in the world. People are going to lose their minds, but it would be the weekly 9 test over here, as well as a break and retest off of where you broke out from over here. Now, you technically already got your break and retest, but, we would be testing that area again. We probably do get buyers there again. All right, now the daily time frame, we could just go over this support and resistance, guys. Now on the upside is resistance for the week. We have 496.49, above there 498.83, 501.01, and then 503.52, which is the current all-time high. On the downside of support, we have 493.30, 491.19, which if you test around here, you're going to have the daily 9, might get another reaction. We were, bullish on this test right here. We were looking for at least a dead cat bounce. It does look like we got that dead cat bounce 2 days in a row there, and then it led to a larger bounce. And now I'm just going to say, things are they're looking like we could, either continue dancing around here and then advance, or we're just going to continue higher. I am still biased to the upside. I am definitely thinking we are going to continue seeing this climb. I think we still are going to come up here and take out that 503.52 level. All right. I'm just going to remind everyone, SPY, you got really close to taking it out. All right. And what happened? You pulled back and everyone went nuts. And then, it just went up to a new high after that. All right, so if you do see a pullback here, it is probably not going to be the end of the world, and we're probably going to see that pullback get bought. That's just how I'm looking at this, okay? So that's what I'm thinking over here on QQQ. Now, if we do lose 491.19, we're going to have 488.41 support. Now, at that point, though, if we lose that, I think we're probably going to have a larger pullback here into this area right here. That would be where our neckline is, right over here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking over here, because we already got the bounce off the daily 9. So if we were to not hold 491.19, we probably are just going to, break under 488.41. Probably going to find ourselves just dancing around over here. We will have the golden pocket from this whole move up, and that will be in between 482 and 485.60. So that is probably where we see buyers at least step in for a dead cat bounce down there if it is tested. All right. But again, guys, this thing doesn't necessarily look so bad. You were just stair stepping your way up. And I do think the next, step up is going to be up to a new all-time high. We have big tech earnings right around the corner. So that is something to keep in mind. IWM, how we looking, guys? How we looking? All right. I know it looks like you're probably going to pull back, but as I mentioned the other day, if you pull back into 220.260, you're going to have a daily 9 test. And from that point, we're probably going to get bulls stepping in, at least for that dead cat bounce. They probably bring you back up into the zone. All right. And if it's going to turn bearish, it's probably going to go something like this. You get rejection here on the retest, and then you go lower from there. Okay. But, for all I know, you're going to do this more like this. Okay, so that's really, my preference here, my bias. That is what I'm seeing on these charts. That is what I am thinking is going to be the case. Now, on the weekly chart, like I said, this is the only indice not really showing that indecision here. I mean, DIA is not really looking too bad, Dow Jones. But, over here on IWM, small caps, guys, they're very clearly just heating up. And, we could see it in some of these charts. Like you got SoFi over here, just, really getting these moves over here. You got Upstart. All right, you got a firm. I don't think it's moving yet, but it's about to. It could be about to. It looks like it's about to. All right, but some of these are looking really good, guys, and I do think we're probably going to get some explosive price actions, some explosive moves in some of these small caps. I think it is definitely possible. We had a bullish look to us last week. We flipped that, weekly 9 into support over here, bounced 2 weeks in a row off of that. And now we are launching. We're releasing that energy. No hippie stuff. We're just releasing all of this consolidation. You had a bunch of people getting frustrated. You had a bunch of orders, a bunch of shares exchanging hands. All right. And now you are getting all of this frustration out. This guy is now punching the freaking wall and breaking through the wall. And that's what we are seeing, okay? I do think we are coming up to this zone here in between 230.72 and 234.53. And eventually we come up here. But that doesn't come yet. We have a lot to work on at the zone up here. All right? We're going to have to see what happens. I can almost guarantee we have sell orders sitting there. So that is what I'm saying. But yeah, if you pull back into, you lose 224.94, pull back into 222.60, expect buyers down there. If you can't hold up there, then 219.98 it is, and then 218.37 under there. On the upside is resistance. You have 226.64, 228.63, and then 230.72. Like I said, somewhere in this zone, I expect us to get a decent pullback. Maybe it goes something like this. All right, and then maybe you retest this. Maybe you dance around here for a little bit. People go crazy again, and then eventually you push all-time highs. I don't think it comes right away. That's what I'm seeing over then IWM. Now DIA, guys, we're going to start off with a weekly time frame here. Not the worst look in the world. Don't have the worst volume in the world. It does look like you're probably going to continue higher next week. I can't say how much higher, but we typically don't get tops off this kind of look. All right, it's not something that you can't sell off of. But I am definitely going to say you had that 3-week range here, 3 to 4 week range. You then launched off of that on the daily time frame. This thing's looking good, guys. All right, you're holding break and retest again over here. Okay, you broke and retested out of this range right here, and then you tried testing over here. You found buyers off the daily 9, and right here, you're still finding buyers where they got to step up. The structure is still bullish on this chart. I don't think it suggests immediate downside. I think it suggests we're either going to consolidate or we're continuing a little higher. All right, now moving over here to VIX, this is the thing that's suggesting to me we're probably going to be continue higher here on the indices. Now, I pointed out in my last video that, the last time we really saw the RSI get this low was over here. This is when, we had this scenario in the markets where we just had, 3 back-to-back gap ups and green days, okay? And it probably drove people nuts. I am fully open to that scenario. I mentioned in my last video, and I think, there is a possibility that that is what is happening. People are going to go nuts, and, people who are looking at these charts as bearish, I think you're about to see this thing go up higher, and then you're going to be like, oh, I was wrong. Let me not be bearish anymore. And then it's going to get the pullback, okay? So I think we definitely have a scenario here where, people's heads can freaking roll, okay? Right now, we're in this stage. You're getting your bounce. Maybe you consolidate for a little bit, and then you go lower. I am not thinking this daily chart suggests upside. I think it suggests the exact opposite. All right, so let's just walk through our, thoughts throughout the week here. Guys, we got this day right here. We were like, okay, it's, Bears got a chance here. They have a chance to run you back up. Let's see what happens tomorrow, but we got to know to be cautious right here. What happens the next day? You completely fade it and you close out at the low. You lose the daily 9 there again. Then we were looking like this thing's probably going to get a bounce. We're probably going to see it resolve itself. Okay, I think that was over here. Yeah, it was right over here. You had this bullish divergence. You did end up seeing that brought a decent sell over there on SPY and QQQ intraday. And then guess what? All right, we're looking like it was going to have a VIX crush. Well, what's happening right now? We are seeing the start of that VIX crush. Okay, this does not suggest we're just going to sprout back up and do that. This suggests we're probably going to be coming lower. You're right here at the weekly 9. Maybe we dance around a little bit. I'm just going to say this thing looks like it's going lower. I think we very, well, could get that scenario over here, wherever that was, where we see this thing just kind of stay in oversold territory and people are going to be like, what the heck is going on? And then everyone's going to flip bullish. And then you start consolidating or pulling back after everyone flips bullish. But right now, guys, I'm just going to say, I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of people are, I unfollowed a lot of people on Twitter. I haven't even been going on Twitter a lot, honestly, since I did that, which, that's what I wanted. But, I'm just going to say, I still see, a bearish bias online. I still do see it. And I think it is going to be, shown in these charts that, yeah, all right, the market makers, the dealers, they like to push extremes. And I think that is what we're going to see. All right, SPY is at 585. We have the 590 psych level, but, that big 600 number, guys, it's probably going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, so those are the indices for you guys. We know what we're watching coming into this week. We have a pretty neutral, bias here going into this week. Now, I'm going to say the, bread and butter of this video going into next week is going to be those trade ideas, guys. We got some real hot setups for us to pay attention to. And I think if we, stay focused on those rather than these indices this week, I think we're going to be having a really good time. All right, so we're going to move over here to Apple. We're just going to cover the FANG stocks real quick. The big boys, like I like to call them. You got this uptrend. You're just grinding along it over here. You had that false breakdown, and then you recovered it. And now guess what? You broke out of this range here. You broke over 232. I already spoke about what I think that's going to bring. I think it's bringing a move to 240 in the short term. Why do I think that? All right, just the measure move to that range is bringing you above 240. All right, but in the short term, 237.23 is your resistance. Above there, you have that 240 psych level. Support is 232.92. Microsoft, how we looking, guys? It's not the worst look, not the best look. This is kind of the same vibe I have on the indices right now. All right, I think we're open to consolidation right now. I'm biased to the long side here, but I will not, just not point out the obvious here. All right, you broke down from that uptrend we were paying attention to over here. We're saying this is the perfect spot to bounce. You did not bounce there. You bounced over here. All right, and you're kind of just, dancing around it right now. It's not the best look, but I'm going to call it neutral here. Okay, we'll call it neutral. Resistance is 420.38, and then above there, 420. We're going to use that high right there. All right, 422.48. Above there, 425.86. I do think this zone is going to be retested. All right, Goog, guys, I think it's likely that we are going to see Goog, decline here in the short term. I think we're going to revisit 160, 163, and maybe even 150, 651. All right, so if the market pulls back, guys, people are going to, you're going to see the people who are bearish, we're going to see a lot more of them. Okay, and just know that we have bullish looks across the board. Like, things are looking pretty juicy. Pullback or consolidation is not going to kill anyone. It is looking good. All right, this is a very nice look. If we pull back here, we like it. If we pull back here, we really like it. And I will, probably just, put on heavy position down here, guys. I'm just going to be completely honest. All right. This thing is probably going to end up coming up here eventually. The deeper this thing dips, that's the deeper your buying opportunity is getting. It's the juicier it's getting. Break under 161.63. We're coming down to 156.51. That's the level we're paying attention to. You're actually going to have the golden pocket down there from this whole move. I believe it starts right there. Yeah. 0.618 fib right there. Right. So we're paying attention to it. No meta here. I'm just going to say this thing looks like it is able to break down here. We have the same look on AMD, a similar look. So those are actually two bearish trade ideas I got for you going into next week. We'll cover it in more detail at the end of the video, but just know it is yeah, it's underneath the daily 9. This is something where you were supposed to be finding support. You did. You got your dead cat bounce. All right here. And then you have now lost it. You have 3 days of consolidation underneath it in this range. Break under 574.03. I think we're probably going to start moving down to 568.73 pretty quick. All right. Amazon, how we looking, guys? Weekly chart isn't necessarily looking so bad. It does look like we're going to either consolidate next week or get, probably just going to consolidate next week. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm just saying this thing doesn't have to just push straight up here. We have earnings in a few weeks. But, we very well could just see this thing consolidate into that event. I'm not going to lie. Amazon has been known to, use these events as, by that I mean earnings, as catalysts to advance. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is going to be the case. I really do not know. All right. Past 2, we have seen quite a dump over here on Amazon. So I will be sad if you dump over here. But I'm also just going to say, all right, if you were buying in the buy zone, we called out, very pretty long ago at this point. We were watching it. It was a trade idea. Once we started breaking under here, under 190, we are going to be paying attention to down here, 182 to, it was right here, 179.88. Right underneath there, you had the 0.618 fib as well from this whole move. All right, so that was the buy zone. If you're buying down here, you're up decent right here, 30 to 50%. I know earnings, is juicing them premiums. I was not satisfied with how much these contracts moved from me buying down here and selling up here. I was not satisfied at all about that at all. But I will say, okay, this thing just probably is going to consolidate. That's that. On a weekly chart, it doesn't look bad. It looks like it's probably going to be advancing, but we could get another week of consolidation here. You're right at the, 0.618 fib, right at 190 level, still finding rejection. Get above 192.15, you can get excited. You're probably going to be pushing up to 195.37, and then you probably break above that and start pushing all-time highs. Support is 187.60 and 184.58. Those are those. We're going to go over the chips real quick, guys. All right, so we do have rejection here. You're at the daily 9, but it looks like you're probably going to fade that. All right. Support is 245.58. Underneath there, we have down here. There we go. 237. All right. Break under 245.58. We've moved down to 237 loading. NVDA, and this is, another reason I don't think we're going to be just selling from here, guys. If you pull back to this 130 spot, that's your big buying opportunity. There's no question about it, okay? The thing just pushed up to a fresh all-time high. You did get rejection right away. It would not be surprising to see this pullback here, but then that pullback gets bought. So that's what I'm thinking here. NVIDIA has been known to run. I think we still are, in early stages of said run. That is what I am thinking. Weekly chart equals bullish. All right, above 140.76. We watched the 145 psych level. Above there, 150. Support is 136.15. If you cannot hold there, 130 is what we were paying attention to. AMD. Now, this is one that's not looking so good. You broke underneath the daily 9. You're now just consolidating. Break under 154.92. I think we can see a move down to 148.01. Avgo, how we looking over here? Weekly chart, you're still just consolidating. Similar look over there to NVIDIA. Pull back into this area. You're probably going to get buyers again, just like we got over here. All right, and we already started getting this week right there. Now, the daily time frame, we can see just a whole bunch of chop, whole bunch of consolidation. Guys, I think it's just going to flag out here or range out in preparation for that next move up. Buy 172.42, sell into 180. There you go. You're probably going to have a good time with that. Again, just consolidating. We're bullish on that pullback if it comes. Okay. ARM. Guys, break that uptrend. We got stuff to worry about. In reality, hit this alert I have set. Break 147. I'm going to move that ever so slightly up there. Right there. All right. Break 147. we're probably going to start moving down to 132.80. Until that happens, we don't really have a reason to be bearish on this. You are testing a key level. You're still above the daily 9. You're consolidating. You're getting tighter here. Okay, we can see on the hourly time frame. Okay, do you see what I see? I see, a little case of bull flag, pennant, whatever we want to call it. You're consolidating. You're getting tighter. It's going to snap at one point, and I think it's probably going to be to the upside. All right, but again, if you break under 147, that's when we get bearish on it. Until then, we're bullish on it for a move back up to 164.16, and then in the end, all-time highs. TSM, all right, bullish on that pullback, could very well get it. 193.47, that is where the buying opportunity is going to present itself. Why? Why are we expecting buyers there? Well, you are going to have a break and retest off the previous all-time high that you just had this explosive move through. Okay, you pull back into that. You'll have the daily 9 here. We probably print a hammer candlestick. I will not be surprised to see this all-time high not get tested again. So do not be surprised if prices come down to 194 to 195 and then starts bouncing and meets this daily 9 halfway. I've seen it before. We could see it again. All right, expect the unexpected. There you go. MU, all right, I'm loving it. I'm loving how this thing looks on the weekly time frame. You're consolidating above that weekly 9. You got rejection there. You got buyers there 3 weeks in a row. Now you're looking like you're getting tight here. You're ready to bust a move. Above 111, we have 127.27. You really don't have much in between there. I think that's a move that could happen pretty quick. The only thing I could really point to is going to be like somewhere over here. All right, 116.34 resistance above there. You really don't have much. You have over here where you sold off through 121.01 and then 127.27. It's looking really good. Support, we're going to use that daily 9 and that uptrend as your support. If you break under that uptrend and come revisit 104.59 and you close underneath the daily 9, we're going to look for a move back down to 98.94. SMCI, I shared my thoughts in the last video. All right, this thing is a troll. I've given up on this guy. I'm using any bounce here just to take an L. I am just going to say this thing could very well go. It could very well not go. I don't freaking know at this point. But you do have a higher high over here. I think it is going to go. I think it's just kind of trolling everyone before it does that. Break underneath the daily 9. Look for move down to 44 bucks. Break above 50.10. Get a daily close above there. We can look for a quick move to 55-ish and then 60 bucks. All right, Bitcoin. Now here is, what's really heating up right now. This sector is heating up. We are, right here at this downtrend here. And I am just going to say, all right, if we get another one of these, holy geez, guys, we're actually going to see 100K. Okay. We are actually going to see, all I'm saying is you have a lot of consolidation right here where, you should have a lot of sell orders in. It makes sense. And the fact that buyers kept supporting price and now we're back up pushing the highs is insane. That is not something to be bearish about. All right. If it was bearish, you would not see buyers sitting there holding you up here. You would have them letting the floor, give out. You would see us coming back and revisiting this 44K mark. What happened? We didn't do that. All right. We didn't. You got bought. I thought you were going to do that over here. You didn't do it. Okay. And now, we're pushing back up. The miners are going to be on fire. All right, you just got a daily close above that, downtrend right there, which is the top trend line of that. I would like to see a weekly close above this, trend line there. We did get the daily close yesterday on Friday, and it does look like we have a reason to be bullish here. Broke above this high, come back to 66,508, 66K, 500.08. We will expect buyers there. That'll be a daily 9 test, and we probably just consolidate here and then push off. That is how I would see that going. All right, now coin, I'm just going to look at the weekly charts, guys. Clear as day. I always do that. All right, clear as day. This move just got started. We could get a week of digestion here, but I'm pretty sure we're starting one of these impulsive moves here on coin. And it is not looking different for over here on the miners. Mara, guys, this is, what I am participating in this rally with. And I'm just going to say, I think this just started. You got to close above the weekly 9 here. You also have a breakout from this technically, but also you're right on the edge. Breakout of this week, not weekly, daily inverse head and shoulders pattern. I just showed the weekly chart. That looks phenomenal. That weekly candlestick that just printed. I do think we're going to have a quick move up here to 22-ish. All right. CLSK. Now I know the daily RSI is already overbought here, as we could see. it was overbought on this day, and then what happened? You had a 30% day the next day. I think 15 is coming with ease here. All right, that is the bottom of this previous range. If you were buying the breakout above 1047 like we talked about, okay, you're going to be selling here. I don't care, okay? No financial advice is given on this channel, but don't be a dummy. Don't be a dummy. You're going to be up a lot, and like, you know, I'm sure we're going to have this big move on Bitcoin, and then it's going to get some consolidation. Well, what happens if you see that? You're going to be like, mother effer. You're going to be so mad, okay? So you see this, expect sellers up here around 15 to 16 bucks. Now, if it just blows right through it, that's what you have runners for. You don't need to exit the full position. If you got time on it, there's that. I think CLSK is probably going to run back up and push these highs if Bitcoin starts pushing all-time highs. But we don't know if that's going to happen until it happens, so just be wise about these things, all right? That's CLSK. I'm really liking it. MSTR looks like it's about to have another bullish week here. Or we're going to consolidate here. If it consolidates and pulls back, that gives you the buying opportunity. You found buyers again off the daily 9. I don't know why I just keep not buying this and then risking it. I don't know. You could have done it every single time here. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Yeah, all right. I, in my mind, see this. Oh, this thing has already ran. When in reality, this is the thing with strength behind it. I'm really liking this thing. You just had another 11% day here. I think you're going to take out this 227 high, and you're probably going to start pushing the 250 psych level. That's what I'm thinking over here, right? Earnings right around the corner. Bitcoin really does start pushing highs. You get 250 incoming over here on MSTR. Pull back into 200 early on in the week. That's your buying opportunity, okay? I would risk that level because you're going to have the daily 9 there. So if you can't hold that level, we're probably going to have a larger pullback. You're probably not just going to consolidate around 183.70. You're probably having a larger pullback. You could very well come 174, down here 160, okay? So, you know, very good spot to risk right around 200, okay? Now, let's talk about some trade ideas. All right, guys, so let's run it. We have some things to talk about. First things first, we'll talk about the things we just already spoke about a little bit. We'll talk about Meta. So this is a bearish setup going into this week. Now, I like to focus on the bull side, but this is, I couldn't help myself here. I took it. I'm just going to say break under 574.03. It's pretty obvious you're going to start flushing down to these other levels here. From there, we could see 568.73 and then 562.35. And then if things get really hairy, we come all the way down there, 554. But as you could see, you know, you don't really have much until you come right over here around 560, 565, we'll call it. So that's a 10-point move from right there. And if you took it around 580, that would be a 15-point move. So there's that. What you would be risking is this 583 level right there. You don't want to get a daily close above it. That is the risk. AMD, very similar look over here, right? You had a false breakout from that downtrend, big downtrend right there, false breakout, got underneath that daily 9. It was not looking good ever since right here. Now we actually have gotten a full-on breakdown. You have a daily downtrend going on here. Break under this 154.92 low. You have pretty much absolutely nothing until you come down here. That is a $6.70 move. That is going to pay. So, you know, see something, do something. Maybe you get some paid. That's how that works. Okay. Yeah, looking not too good. CLSK, I'm just going to say above 1275. We have 15 bucks. I do think it is coming. Pullbacks are going to be buying opportunities. If you pull back into 1219, there's your first buying opportunity. The second one is just to retest the 1047. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're getting a 25% sell. I think this is going to continue going higher, and it probably starts early on in the week. So catch it early, and you'll probably get paid. All right, so that's CLSK for you. And you know how to play this. If you want to just be an aggressive breakout trader, all right, buy here, risk that daily 9. Risk it, because if it doesn't, like, buy some time, risk that. Like, guys, it's gonna come back down. There's that, but it's probably not gonna happen. All right, so I'm just gonna say, all right, if you aren't already in, I don't think it's going to benefit you from just chasing. It probably does pay in the short term, but you know, I would never recommend that. And then you also have Mara. You could very easily do this. You could buy right here. So this is the better trade idea, in my personal opinion, just because you have, you know, a risk profile they can use here. Okay, you buy the breakout here, you're risking right underneath that neckline. We'll say, you know, to get an alert for 1750, get hit, get the frack out. Okay, you know, in reality, thing's probably just going to continue higher. Weekly time frame, this thing looks like, you know, it's ready to have some explosions. That's that. All right. 22 incoming. Oklo, we talked about this. This was round 2 or 3 on this guy. I am just going to say I am out, but I do think pullbacks are definitely going to be buying opportunities over here on Oklo. I don't think they'll actually get a pullback. With how this looked, we probably get another continuation candlestick after that. This is insane volume. This is an insane freaking move on the week, 100% move on the week. I think it does continue, so I'll just keep it on your radar there. All right, now back over to the crypto space, guys. Coin does look like it just started one of these impulsive moves. If you are willing to step up to the plate, you probably are going to catch an absolute ripper. Maybe you get a week of consolidation, digest that move we just had. It would make sense. We're in the golden pocket. This is where we always expect the opposing side to step in. So sellers stepping in here would not be a surprise at all to us. Remember that. All right. Remember that. I'm not telling you just blindly buy this thing. You're in the golden pocket. But I'm telling you right now, you very well could be setting up for this guy right here, where you get a week of digestion and it's followed by a continued move, or we're just going to continue. I don't think this thing is going to fall flat on its face. You've taken out this high. You've taken out this high. I think we're coming up to a new all-time high. Not all-time high, but new highs are over here. And maybe new all-time high if Bitcoin goes to, its all-time highs and we see, an 80K Bitcoin again. Well, actually, I don't think we saw 80K. Felt like 75K. Yeah, if you see a 75K Bitcoin, I think coin is probably going to be pushing these highs. In 80K Bitcoin, I think everyone's going to get really excited, try and front run a move, and I think this thing probably starts pushing all-time highs. That's that. All right. Next one we're talking about, we put it on your radar last week. It is the trade ideas underway. Congrats if you did end up playing this one. We were looking for a break above 13.18. Next spot was going to be 14.10. So this was a move that was probably going to happen in a couple trading sessions there. What happened? You had it in 2 trading sessions. Pretty much one, but yeah, 2 trading sessions there. I do think this is just getting warmed up. I think this thing has a lot of meat left on the bone here. You have this downtrend / like channel. You just broke out from it. All right. I'm not going to say it has great volume going on, but I will definitely point out you had a lot of downtrend here. You just broke that, broken, retested it actually, and then also got your first weekly close really above that, not the weekly 9 here, in a while. All right. Like in a very long time. Like you got a clear as day close above it. It's been half a year. This thing's probably getting ready to go for a ride. Well, it's getting ready to go for a ride. It has now started going for that ride. Break above 1410, you have 1484, and then you have 1650 above there. And then my targets for this push is going to be 1650 and then 1810. Those are Henry's 2 targets there. Guys, I think I'm going to change my Twitter name. Let me know what you think about it. I can't expose it. Someone's going to take it, all right? I think it's going to be a good idea. I don't like the name HJ Charts. I want my channel to be me. I want it to like someone looks at this, they get an idea of who I am, not this HJ Charts. That just doesn't roll off the tongue. It's corporate brand name. No, it doesn't roll off the tongue. Not me. All right? Not my name. It is my name, but it's not the name I want. All right? TLT, guys, I put it on your radar as we start breaking down over here. Well, now I'm just going to show you are retesting your 0.618 fib from this whole rally here. You're probably getting buyers stepping in here. You found buyers. I'm not going to put it on the chart, but here's a golden pocket test. Here's a golden pocket test. Here's a golden pocket test. And then you ripped faces, okay? Right now is your big golden pocket test. And, I'll just remind everyone, we also called this. All right, guys, I don't play TLT often, but I happen to, call the living crap out of this price action over here on TLT. I am just saying, you had one impulsive move. You had, a retracement here into the golden pocket. What happened? You had another impulsive move, slightly overtook that high, and now another retracement into the golden pocket. Odds are with this daily RSI sitting right here, I'm going to make the same exact call I made over here. You undercut this low, that's probably going to be your low, and you are, I think it's relatively safe to go long. You could put a stop under that candlestick or whatever, do whatever you want to do. Shape the trade how you want. I'm just telling you right here, you're probably going to get buyers stepping in here for a move back up to maybe here, okay? 96 bucks. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, okay? But, in terms of those contracts, how they move, you catch this, you have a good amount of time on it. You're talking like 2 months on it. You're still going to be up 100 to 200% on that move. You're probably going to be up 300+% on that move. And like, if you're catching them with shorter dated contracts, like you're going to be looking really good. You're cooking. Okay, so that's TLT for you. Next one we're talking about is DIS. There's no surprise. We called it out right at the bottom here when it was, printing that break and retest there. Not right at the bottom, all right, but somewhere over here we called it out. We called it here, and now I'm just gonna say I think this is about to start that move. Last week I put it on your radar as the trade idea coming into this week with the break above last week's high. Right now, I'm just going to say break above 97.57. You're probably going to have a straight shot up to 127, then 102.88. Why did it say 102.88? Why do I say that one specifically? Because you have a range here. It's $5.80, just about there. What would that be? $5.40. So I do think we are going to come up to 102.88. At the end of the day, I think we're going to come up to this 105 cycle level, but that's my target for this push right here. Break above 97.57. If you want, you can use this as your stop right here. Break above here, take your entry. Use the low of this candlestick right here as your stop. And there you go. And if you want to see an exact level on that, 95.61. All right. So how would we structure that trade? Looking at literally just like this. All right. Why is this an ideal spot? Well, if you pull back, you have the daily 9 here, and we know it's probably going to be respected. So you don't get stopped out on that pullback. Okay. I'm thinking you get this push right there. That is a massive move. Okay. But right here, this is kind of what I'm thinking right here. All right. And you're going to be like, oh, it's not a 3-to-1. Guys, you don't always need 3-to-1s. All right. Let's look at it this way. We have like high probability setups every single week over here. We don't miss too often. Okay, so I'm just going to say this is all you really need. But, in reality, you're probably going to see this move right here. And then you can look at it and you'd be like, oh, that's a better risk reward, 4.5 to 1. There you go. But, that's what I think is happening in the short term. I think this move right here is possible. CLH, bit of a troll, but I do think it is getting ready here. Second weekly rejection at that weekly 9. I think it is getting ready. Weekly, I gotta stop flipping back and forth. Weekly RSI is curling up here. I think we're getting ready for a full-on move back up to $48 to retest where you really broke down from over there. All right. You got to break above 35.99 for this really to get moving. But from that point, you have absolutely nothing in between here and here. But I think that move probably comes pretty quick. So, break above 36, look for a move to 40 to 42.52 in the short term. This is one that is very likely just about getting ready to go. I actually post this on the Twitter, so if you're not already following me on the Twitter, go check us out over there. You will be able to see these charts in real time. You will not have to wait for the video to show you these trade ideas. And yeah, each week I'll post a good amount of trade ideas, and I think anybody who is just strictly following me and not watching anybody else, I think you're going to have a really good time with these trade ideas. And I think it's really all you need to have, yeah, what I just said, to have a good time every single week. You right here, guys, we have a nice pennant going right here. This is what I was saying. I think some things are really set up to run here. Small caps are set up to run. This is a small cap. Yeah, it is. It is definitely a small cap. Yeah, under 10 bill. This thing looks like it can push. Break out of here, can push 25.59 in the short term. From that point, guys, I do think we're going to start really pushing here up into the golden pocket from this whole decline. And that would be a move all the way up above 30. Okay, so that would be 32. But what really stands out on this weekly chart to me is 30.92. So I am looking for a move up there. I think this was just consolidation before a continued push. It's like right there. All right. And then we're going to continue. But really sexy, guys. If you are buying the breakout, I don't really know where you would want to put your stop, but I'm just going to say wherever that candlestick is, you could use the low of the candlestick as your stop loss. So if you gap up to right here, 22.37, all right, and you close out right here and you take that entry, we'll use 22.37 as that stop, and then you were playing for a move up to here, and then last target is going to be 30.92. But yeah, this thing's really set up to go downtrend break here, inverse head and shoulders pattern. You also had a breakout there, break and retest off that downtrend. Like, it's a really sexy setup, and this is clearly just bullish consolidation before you continue. Last one I'm going to put on your radar is something we actually talked about over at the bottom there. You had a falling wedge pattern. Now I'm going to say you are full on pushing back up. I think this thing is literally a giant cup and handle pattern, and I think we're about to push up to new all-time highs. So I'm not going to provide too much detail on that. I'm going to say that, best bets going into this week out of everything I just mentioned is going to be you. All right, we're talking you, Unity software over here, ticker symbol U. We're talking ticker symbol DIS, Disney, with a break of 97.57. And then the last one I'm going to pick is CLF. I really would like this thing to come back here and retest the daily 9. That would provide a really supreme entry there. But, you know, I do think this is pretty clear that this thing is just starting to move. I think we probably just get another continuation candlestick here. All right. Now, of course, I'll mention again, this is one, you know, this is how I'm playing Bitcoin. I think this one is, you know, just the best setup I am seeing out of these is this. Now, I'm also going to say coin is the thing that looks like it's absolutely going to explode and push up these highs maybe this week. So, you know, do with that info what you will. Doesn't matter to me. I hope you do kill it either way. I don't care how you use this information as long as it is benefiting you. And that is that. All right, guys, if you want to trade with me, the link to the Discord is going to be down below, and you can come trade options and futures with me every day. Other than that, guys, we have the Twitter link down below. I will be posting a ton of trade ideas over the weekend there, a bunch of charts. We're going to try and post 10 to 20 charts over there this weekend, and I will be taking some ticker requests maybe later on today. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy this video and you enjoyed our weekly preparation for the upcoming, you know, trading week there so we could kill it, please remember to leave a like, and if you have anybody else in your life that you think would benefit from this, or even if you want to share it on social media, I would greatly appreciate you sharing it. It would just let us get it out to more people, and then we can grow our little corner of YouTube over here. Hope everybody has a lovely rest of their weekend, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.